Hello my beautiful friends and welcome to Tailor Made Beauty by Kris. I put a poll up several weeks ago and the majority of you asked for drugstore makeup. So I set myself a little challenge to see if I could do a full face of new drugstore makeup for $100. I went to my local Ulta and I came up with quite a look. Let's start with primer. My Ulta has good molecules, and so I picked up the silicone-free priming moisturizer. That sounded like a good idea for this time of year, and it is a nice, thick primer. I will say one thing that I really appreciate about buying the drugstore brands at Ulta is that they have testers of so many of them, and not just, you know, the brands that we can get at Ulta that we can't get at Target, Morphe, and totally blanking on some other ones, but you know, they've CoverGirl and Maybelline and Revlon and did I see any L'Oreal testers? Anyway, they have testers of so many of them, which, especially for foundation, makes it so much easier than, you know, holding up the bottle and trying to figure out. All right, so primer. Speaking of foundation, oh my God, I seriously, I spent like an hour just in the drugstore section testing stuff, swatching stuff. I really wanted to try the Morphe foundation that comes in the glass bottle that I can't remember the name of, but they did not have my shade there. And then stuff was too light, too dark, too runny, too thick. What I finally settled on, and I was kind of surprised, this Florence by Mills, and like a light skin tint, because when I swatched it, I definitely got the impression that it's more coverage than what I would expect out of a skin tint. It comes in 15 shades and it sells for $18. And you can see it's a clear plastic tube and it's got a pump. Yay! Yay for pumps, right? That just makes things so much easier. And you can see, all right, I expect something called a skin tint to be running down my hands, and this clearly is not. And so I am really curious. Ooh, all right, I do believe that this oxidized a wee bit. Did I mention it comes in 15 shades? And while that may not seem like a lot, they had a very wide shade range, and because it is a tint, and as this is going on, because it thins out, shades cover more shades of skin. Does that make sense? I think so. Anyway, it was a very broad shade range, which was nice to see. And it's going on beautifully. It does feel like skincare, like a thicker skincare cream. But you know, that's good. I would call that kind of light plus coverage. I am going to see if I can build it with another pump. I feel like I really had to work to get that second pump to work into my skin, and now I am wondering if this has SPF in it. It does not say it has any SPF in it, so even though the directions say 1 or 2 pumps, I would say 1 pump was plenty, but I am really liking this coverage. I would say it's somewhere between light and medium coverage, so yay, good on that. For a setting powder, I've got the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Translucent Powder. Now this is one that I already own. My goal was to keep this under $100. And so, okay, maybe it's cheating a little bit because I used a powder, although this Wet n Wild powder is like, I don't know, $4, $5. So I was happy to say that I could do this all for right around $100, which is pretty good. I just looked in my 7X mirror and am not liking what I'm seeing. I'm going to zoom you in to see if you can see this. Yeah, this, I don't know, maybe it's not working well with the primer. This is really not good. I took a wipe and I wiped it all off. It looked so bad. I've gone back in with a pump and a half, and yeah, you know what? It looked great on the back of my hand. It felt great on the back of my hand. On my face, it is patchy. It really is doing nothing for my complexion. So that's a bummer. But let's move on, shall we? From Essence, I picked up this contouring palette. This looked really interesting to me. And lately I have been paying more attention to kind of cooler shades that look more like shadow. And so this was something I was excited to try. Oh, and I like that. That is maybe a little heavy hand, but that is a nice contouring shade that actually looks like a shadow. Not that I put bronzer down there. All right. And for blush, let's just keep working on the cheeks here. I picked up the MILANI Baked Blush in Dolce Pink. That just looked like a beautiful color. I have one of the MILANI Baked blushes already in kind of a more orangey, peachy tint, and I really like it. They're very nice, performing, good quality blushes. And I have this Sonia Cusack big brush. Yep. That's exactly what I expected from this. Just a really lovely, fresh, with a little bit of light color to it. That looks good. That's a nice one. For highlighter, Ulta. You know, not a lot of people talk about the Ulta in-store brand, and so I picked up a couple of items from it. You can see it's quite a light, but I thought it blended in really nicely. And apparently I don't have the fan brush that I wanted to use, so I have this E.L.F. brush that I have had for years, and like, okay, the size is too big for a highlighter, but because it's got these wispy long ones, I think I can just sort of really lightly pick it up and then go over. Yeah, that's kind of the effect I was hoping to get. Just a little highlight. We'll hit above the brows a little bit. And speaking of brows, let's go in. This is my Drugstore Holy Grail for brow pencils. It is the NYX Precision Brow Pencil. I get it in the shade Taupe, and I was very happy to see that they had that. And it is a tip like that. So let's do brows. As you can tell, I am not someone who typically spends a ton of time on my brows. I just get it done and move on. Having said that, I did pick up another one of the E.L.F. Clear Brow and Lash Mascara. If you watched my most recent empties, you know I have an empty one of these. And, you know, it's $3 and it does a great job. And since fuller brows are still in, it helps to get that that look. Goodness, my brows I need to go get my brows threaded and taken care of. Did I get anything for priming for eyeshadow? No, that's a problem. I used my MAC paint pot and we're back in action. Eyeshadow palettes, wow. This was hard. I wanted to pick up something that was not my usual jam, so I didn't want to go just for an all neutral. They had several neutral cool palettes that kind of interested me, but honestly, what's going to compare with Natasha Denona Glam? Yeah, I spent a good like 15 minutes swatching, and I finally picked up one from Juvia's place. This palette is the Mauves by Juvia's, and oh, look at that. Very pretty, but clearly outside my typical jam. And let's just do that thing we usually do when we're breaking into a new palette, and it's also good for our own knowledge. Here is that bottom row with a matte and a shimmer and a really shimmery. And let's see here. Yeah, they go down pretty well. Not great, not like I'm not blown away, but pretty nice. And then the top row is 3 mattes. Wow, that's got a lot of pigment. And that's what those look like. Clearly we're going to end up with a very pink and purple color today, and there's only really one option I see for any kind of crease color, which is this shade right here. I'm going to take a fluffier crease brush, and no mirror here, that makes it a little bit challenging, and try to do a sheer wash of that pink for the crease. That is exactly what I had in mind, so I'm glad that worked out. Now I'm going to take a flat shader brush, and I'm going to go into that bright pink. And I'm going to pick that up and work that on the outer 2/3 of my lid and work it up into the crease a little bit. I will say that these mattes are working really nicely. I'm really impressed with the color payout, the depth. It's very nice. Now let's flip that brush around and take the lighter of the 2 matte shades there. I just work that on the outer corner here. And I'm going to blend that in. I'd like some of that darker color just to wash now into the crease. And it did blend in there very nicely. We got to go for it, right? We have to go for that really bright purple color. Oh yeah. This is not an eyeshadow palette for the timid. But you know, I mean, we're coming up in the holidays, and why not? Why not just have a really fun eyeshadow look? I'm going to take that same shade that I used in my crease on the inner quarter, And now I'm going to see what I can get out of this really shimmery, kind of a topper. Well, that is just very, very sparkly. Let's do the lower lash line. And let's take that darkest color. I am liking that, and my eyes are green-blue, and this is really, really bringing out the green in my eyes. As I mentioned, I picked up a couple items from the Ulta cosmetic line, and one is this matte black eyeliner, and I'm going to tightline with this. Well, that went on very easily. I'll be curious to see how this wears today. For lashes, I picked up this L'Oreal Voluminous Fiber, X-Fiber, and you can see it's a double-ended thing here with a black primer and the mascara, and I do love me a black mascara primer. Having said that, this is huge, and do they tell you which end is which? Well, they label it 1 and 2, so presumably 1 is the primer side. All right, and that is a shaped brush like that. I need to get in closer. There's the primer, and I think that did a really, really nice job. And let's check out the mascara end. All right, that is a curved brush on the mascara end. Wowzers. Okay, this mascara, I gotta say, I hate the packaging. It feels cheap, it's too big, it's wonky. Having said that, wow, my lashes, I'm gonna zoom you in. So, like I said, wow, I'm curious to see how this performs throughout the day. Let's move on to lips. I do not wear lip liner on a daily basis, so I did not pick one up. What I got, though, again, something from Ulta Beauty. This is the Raspberry Beret. It's a satin lipstick. It looked so pretty. Yes, I think that is exactly what this look needed. It is a very nice, creamy formulation, and there's some good ingredients in here. Well, this is crazy. I absolutely cannot find this lipstick on their app, which blows my mind. Let's do some finishing powder, and I picked up the number 7 Lift and Luminate finishing powder, right? All right, you're gonna get blown up by my lights, but beautiful packaging here. And this is, what? This is light medium. And I've got a big old BK Beauty brush here, and let's just give the finishing touch to everything. I realized when I went to edit this that I did not actually record the end that I thought I had recorded. So this is being shot at a later time. But I gotta say, you know what? I got several compliments on that look. It was really a bold, fun look. So I hope you enjoyed this. Go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and have a wonderful day.